Winner bracket semi-final, the second one. We are in Group B, and we have not only two new teams that so far haven't played in the tournament, but we have a new patch. So, new patch has been around for a bit, but this is the first tournament that features the new patch, where we have now in Group B all of the games played on the new recent patch that affects not only experience globes, that affects a lot of the push power that you just generally have. Structures have been affected, and quite a few maps have also been directly affected, Towers of Doom not being one of them. We have Team Rip going up against DDX. This is a best of 3 series, and we do not have any draft restrictions, so normal draft. Eternal Conflict, this season 1, features a prize pool of 1,500 euros. And I'm actually a little bit sad that the Vikings get banned. I've been talking in previous matches that I am looking forward to see some of the more unorthodox teams, and I would actually count Team Rip and also DDX amongst them, because I want to see team... Even Probe is getting banned. I mean, come on, guys. I would love to see a couple of teams that are coming in with hero choices that are slightly outside of the box, because teams have been playing it fairly safe. Now, just to contextualize the new patch a little bit, the patch has been around for a few days now. Of course, teams have been scrimming and practicing, but it's still very different from playing in an actual tournament then. And a lot of the teams obviously haven't really just put hours and hours of practice in yet. That means that everybody is still just dipping their toe in the water and seeing what to do here. There's obviously now the greater need to make clean rotations between lanes and stay on lane to get the experience for your team. Very similar to what we had in the days of HGC. Keep in mind, experience globes as a concept was introduced after HGC was over. So now we're having a bit of a hybrid where the small experience globes are disappearing or then don't exist any longer. So you can't get away with all of these sloppy rotations anymore. I was never a fan of experience globes. I really hated it. I loved that in the days of HGC, you had to work as a team and really make sure that you caught the experience on lanes. And I always felt that experience globes as a concept and the way that they were implemented allowed teams to be very, very sloppy and just 5-man a lot and then run onto the lanes and still get XP. And I railed against it back then, but again, Blizzard was very set on this. And now we have a bit of a hybrid where you at least have to be a little bit closer. You have to pay a bit more attention to what you do on the lane, and so that you don't fall behind. If you just 5-man the entire time and you ignore the side lanes, not only are your opponents going to push you extremely hard because of that new Inspire mechanic on minions, we're going to talk about that later, but you're also going to lose out on experience a lot, and you're going to fall behind by 2-3 levels and all of a sudden get just dumpstered in every single team fight. So right now we got Samuro for Sven, we have Krankle with ETC, we get Lucio, Blaze and Junkrat on the other side. No priority on any of the globals. Dehaka has obviously been hit a little bit in the recent patch, so now his Bush Stalker is on a much higher cooldown, which you can reduce by picking up experience globe. Sorry, not experience globes, health globes. And Dehaka has been played in some of the earlier series, but here, no priority on him just yet. And we'll see how the teams react as we're getting more and more games with the patch. Keep in mind, these are the first few games that all of these guys play in a tournament environment. We're also in the early stage of Group B, so there will be some skill discrepancies between the teams that are getting matched. But there's, for example, that Azmodan pick. I talked about Azmodan in one of the previous series because we had Azmodan played in Group A. And Group A, different teams, Group A did not have the new patch. So now Azmodan should actually have more value because he really helps you to push these lanes hard and get value there. So is that going to be something that will shake the meta up, or is this just going to be one of those things that will disappear after a couple of attempts and opponents deal with it better? We're going to find out, but this is one of the things that the patch enables right now. The attempt to create a new meta and teams that have to figure out how to play with new ideas and also how to counter them. So let's see what they can do with the Azmodan comp. We have Tyrael and Genji on the other side. So a pretty traditional lineup that we get for DDX, at least in game number 1 in this best of 3. And Dainu still has to pick as we're heading into Towers of Doom, and he goes for Cassia. So exciting times, everyone. Big patch from Blizzard, and let's see what the impact is as we are continuing to go through Group B. Towers of Doom, our first map in the best of 3 series. Off we go, blue team on the left with Dainu playing for Team Rip in this tournament, playing Cassia. We got Vasilisco on Anduin, Krankle is playing ETC, Cesarboss is playing Asmodan, and Sven is on Samuro. On the right side, the opponents, Team DDX with Shizakid on Junkrat. We get Virgil on Blaze, Dead Inside on Genji, Yoshiro is playing Lucio, and Anazovsky is playing Tyrael. So, let's go! Level 1, we get Greed here for Asmodan. And we're gonna keep our eye on Asmodan, because it's all about early game stacking for him to try and accelerate his... basically, you want to make sure that he is in a position where he doesn't need any assistance anymore, is a little bit more self-sufficient, and for that you need to help him with those stacks here. And they don't have the best lineup to make that happen. Normally what you're trying to do is pair Asmodan with somebody that has good wave clear. That could be Johanna, could be a mage, anybody else that has a bit of an AoE burst, and they don't have that right now, so it's gonna be much harder for them to make that work, especially with Danazovsky counterplaying them, and I absolutely love this. Keep an eye out on Tyrael. Danazovsky is going to try, and at least in the early game, counteract Asmodan's orb. Every single time that comes down, or just before, he's going to give a shield to minions if he has a chance to do so, and that screws up the stacking for Asmodan. And if you do that continuously, Asmodan is going to come online so much later, and it will give your team a massive boost. So if he, with Tyrael, can counterplay this, that would be amazing for Deep Dive Extreme, for the red team. So we'll see if he can actually pull that off. For now, though, they are doing a little bit better. 22 stacks for Asmodan. Again, the more stacks you get, the more damage. It all ramps up, and at some point, you're fully self-sufficient. You can start to take those minion waves out. And this is exactly what they're, of course, going to try and do to control the macro game. Tyrael dies, and does get a good explosion off. And they get a kill, too. Nice. They get the counter kill on ETC. So, job well done. Blue team took their pumpkin camp. Red team missed out on it so far. Now the camps, you might have noticed already, have spawned a little bit faster. Mercenary camps now spawn at the 30-second mark, not at the 1-minute mark anymore. So you can much faster make a move towards your own mercenary camps or try to invade your opponents. Dino gets booped over the wall a bit, straight into tower range, and is able to escape. Now the patch has also increased the hit points on structures. Structures have now an additional 12.5% of health. And this is generally offset by pushes being stronger. So if you're now pushing into structures, careful, Danazovsky in trouble again, and Tyrael dies for the second time. Trade value, that's what we're going for, obviously. So if you're pushing for structures and you have a minion wave with you, if you auto-attack structures, minions, your own minions around you, will get Inspire, which is a 35% attack speed bonus and a 35% movement speed bonus. So if you find yourself alone on lane, you can push much more aggressively. And there's also a few changes that Blizzard made when it comes to diving into forts and keeps to try and take a hero out. Previously, when you were doing that, the structure would then automatically shift the priority onto you and target you directly in order to defend that particular hero. This is not the case anymore. So it's much safer to dive onto structures now if you have something that pushes in with you and soaks up those shots. Nice kill at the top against Samuro. This is still all about altar number 3 in the first objective phase. Yeah, so they're trying to come in that 5 versus 4. The red team hyper aggressive. And by the way, here's that Inspire play. This is huge. This is going to give Shizakid a lot of push power. We haven't seen this in the other matches so far. Most of the times teams reacted extremely well to individual heroes pushing lanes. In this case though, Team Rip reacts late. And that allows Junkrat to basically take the entire wall out. So the altar goes to Team Rip after all, but that was value at the bottom of the map through Junkrat. So that push would normally not have been as dangerous. He would have still done damage, of course, but now the minions got that Inspire buff and were able to do damage, and the reaction just came too late from Team Rip in order to counteract it. Now, another kill against Lucio. So at least on the team fight, it seems that Team Rip is doing a lot better. 56 stacks now for Asmodan, so he's slowly getting there. He also has now Master of Destruction, which is another big one that allows him to be a lot more self-sufficient on these lanes. Samuro going up against Genji over here. Swapping back out though, as ETC. Let's just double checking what's happening here. But the biggest change, or one of the biggest changes, and I think I touched upon it during the draft, was that the XP globes, the small experience globes, are now removed. So you have to have more of a lane presence or take them out directly. This is where Azmodan, for example, can come in. Crankle. Uh-oh. Yep, he's surrounded and he has no chance and has been taken out. Genji at the top also escaping, but damn, that bottom fight just continues, right? So they're just going for it and try and take Dino down as well. It's actually a very aggressive early game. We have 7 kills already and we barely passed through the 5-minute mark. I'm personally a little bit salty still that we haven't had any changes for Towers of Doom. I've been talking a lot about the changes that I would like to see. I would like to see a very heavy reduction in these parallel double spawns that we have now on the objective. These horizontal ones, top left, top right now, and then would have them replaced with more vertical spawns at the bottom and middle, because those are usually ones that just incentivize more aggression, more plays, and are not ending up with this being a each team takes one situation. So it's a bit sad that they haven't made any moves there, but well, we'll see what they're gonna do for the future. Right now we have 92 globes stacks for Azmodan. Level 10 kicks in, Judgment, Riptire, so they can combo the two. Also with an X-Strike. And they dove in deep, dead inside, gets a few shots by that fort. And again, some people... Ooh, and that's a kill. Some people misunderstood this a little bit. If you just dive down here, obviously the fort is still going to attack you too. But if there are some minions and the fort is already attacking there, it's not shifting the priority over. So it doesn't just nilly-willy allow you to just jump in and try and take heroes out. Blizzard also added a mechanic to try and protect heroes in range. So the circle that you see here around the structure indicates an area where if a hero gets attacked, he gets an armor bonus for a short period of time, but it's only one hero per structure, and it's on a cooldown too. Shizakid DDX apparently experienced a couple of issues here. Shots en route, as you can see on the minimap with the altar spawn happening. Currently on the core we have 28, we will have 28 to 32 points. And Lucio at the bottom of the map has now been lasered into the ground by Azmodan. 122 stacks for him. And is, as you can see here now, easily able to get himself some waves. So Cesarboss, after initially being shut down a bit by Tyrael, is now in a much better spot. And it's all about controlling the lanes, controlling the macro, and controlling the experience. And we can actually take a look at it already. So minion experience is now very even between the two teams. We are obviously on level 11 for both of them. 11.5 here. But Azmodan is going to be able, once that he has the ability to take waves out with just single orb, is going to be able to get them in a much better position here. They don't have to have that hero on the side lane. They can much more aggressively 4-man, 5-man, and have Azmodan nearby and then have him contribute in these situations too. So at least that's the thought process behind it. And I absolutely love that Team Rip is trying to make that play now. We've seen it in Group A already, and now with the new patch, I would assume that this is going to be even more impactful for the teams in play. On level 10 though, we got the Demonic Invasion again, so there's no Black Pool plays. 174 stacks now, and slowly getting to a point where he completes his level 1 quest. ETC was interrupted as the mosh pit came through, but the kill is still there. Tyrael is gone, gets the explosion off. Damn, it's full carnage here. Anduin is eliminated. Lucio is down. And this is not all by any means. The jet propulsion barely misses. Cesarboss could have been stunned out. Blade Master is jumping out of the fight, so Samuro is swapping out. As we are all talking about the altar at the bottom of the map. And this is where the next channel now happens with... actually, they might be... Yes, they are interrupting it. So, is Blaze gonna pay for it? Nope, not so far. Tries to come in again. Gets instantly lasered. Has to bunker up and might be in some trouble. Another hit from Azmodan, who's currently sitting at 12,000 damage. It's his siege damage, though, that is the most important thing. At least for now. He's gonna add his hero damage later on. But they were able to deny a channel on the altar, so good for DDX. Deep Dive Extreme with a pretty good move there to potentially take that altar and fire 4 shots to equalize the points on the core. We now have 27,000 damage for Genji. And yeah, Azmodan, he has that range. He can, from a safe distance, interrupt without problems. The fight, though, as it breaks up. Judgment! And even Anduin isn't fast enough to save Cassia. But Blaze dies too. Azmodan is done on his level 1. Still stacking his baseline, of course. And could come in with another hit if he wasn't moving to the top lane. Down here, ETC has fallen. And here's the Inspire buff in action, indicated by the red glow. And look how quickly this is being taken out right now. You have Inspire minions, you have Azmodan, and you have him dropping his ult. So they're taking a bell tower here. The altar at the bottom of the map was successfully channeled by DDX, but they missed the Azmodan rotation, and that allowed the blue team to get themselves a bell tower. This is exactly the tricky thing. If you have a minion wave pushing in somewhere, and a hero all of a sudden moves in, it will enhance that push significantly. 35% attack speed bonus through Inspire is not a joke. So you need to react to your opponent's rotations. And this might also make it so that any hero that has a global presence is going to get value through the patch and will likely have a priority increase in the meta. One of the reasons why on this map specifically, the Vikings, for example, are being banned. And that, of course, was also the case before. Then again, you can also much more easily take this back. That's the flip side of the coin, of course. At least for Towers of Doom. On other maps, you are going to have a tough time trying to recreate that situation. But on Towers of Doom, retaking those bell towers is also much, much easier right now. So they retake the bell tower without any big problems, and yeah, they're fine. 41,000 damage for Cassia, 34,000 for Junkrat. Azmodan is slowly getting his hero damage up a bit more, but it's again all about the siege for him, trying to stack his baseline, get more value there, and then chipping in. And he's already back while the fight breaks out and tries to take this one out again. And it's just insane. I mean, he's on the lane for a couple of seconds, drops his ult, gets some damage through, and bam, that's the bell tower gone again. So Azmodan can take this within seconds by himself. Sven is still alive, was about to die actually. I thought he would be eliminated from Junkrat, but not the case. 9 kills to 7. Another channel attempt on the altar, but now it's a 5 versus 3 situation on bell towers as the objective is up on the map. So now it gets interesting. 28 points for both of the teams here. 240 stacks for Azmodan. Starts to get some more damage out. Yeah. Oh, and especially Dead Inside is low. Azmodan could get another hit in, but he's also running low on mana. Shizakid gets in. No, he gets the channel. 3 shots fired. So Azmodan is able to connect the damage, but it's just half a second too late. And it means that DDX is now slightly ahead there. But they lose Tyrael. And if the blue team just gets one single altar, they will pull ahead on this. Azmodan, guess what? He's in the middle now. Does he have his ult? The answer on that one is no, but he has Inspire and he has a straight and he is doing mad damage here. So this is starting to become a big problem for the red team. They need to... I mean, honestly, this is like full-on red Dota style right there. Azmodan just moves away from lanes, drops his trade, and then they are just wrecking structures. Junkrat is now gone and the altar is lost. Krankle survives and the blue team is still pushing. But Azmodan is just going for split push after split push, and with all of the power that he now has and the increased minion power through Inspire, they're able to take these out with ease. I mean, look at this shit. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Topside gets retaken, but they lose the bell tower at the bottom of the map. Lucio is now sitting in the middle. They can always inspire their own minions, of course, but Azmodan can now, for example, also start using his Orbs of Annihilation to take the opponent's minion wave out and save these a little bit longer. And he can do this from a safe distance. Sasebo doesn't care about that. He just goes back up to the top because now he's also looking at level 10 that he has ready again. Can easily take this out, or at least should be able to. Bam, there we got that. Could have been a bit better, but here comes the ult. And they are starting to do big damage even without Inspire. Whereas down at the bottom of the map, Junkrat is all alone as he gets pushed away from the pumpkins. Azmodan finally falls, but the pumpkins still connect their shots. So that puts the red team now down to 22 stacks. Or 22 points on the core. And the minion wave still moved in. Starts to do a massive amount of damage over here. Bot lane controlled. Triple altar phase is now up. It's a little bit annoying to be team DDX, if you ask me. Yeah, a couple of shots get fired, and I can see some Azmodan bans in our near future. This is one of those typical situations where you have a hero that starts to make his way back into the meta because of some changes. Potentially. And either teams figure out how to properly deal with it, or we're going to see a priority in picks and bans on certain maps. And this could definitely be one of them. So far it's been working for them, but there could also be other plays, maybe even with Medivh to portal between lanes faster. That could also be a nice tool. With other comps, obviously. But we're now 50 minutes into the game. We have 11 to 8 kills, so really kill-heavy game. And 19.5 on both sides. Quick note also that on the experience side, the minion experience is way better for DDX. They've done a much better job on controlling the minion lanes. But there is, of course, an advantage through mercenary experience, mainly hero experience, but also through structures for Team Rip, which allows them to essentially be more or less on the same level. A few more shots have been fired. Another 5 shots. Damn, they're getting all the orders right now. So that's 9 points on the core. Top side, there's the attack coming. Azmodan is dead again. Azmodan gone. That means they're down to 4. Junkrat is retaking the bottom, by the way. ETC still getting saved. Dead Inside is jumping in deep. X-Strike! And doesn't get the kill. But, oh, actually is able to get it with the last few shurikens here. Material is also gone. And Cassia, I mean, Dino is absolutely ripping them here. One hit after another the entire time as he is coming in with big damage. Level 20 talent for them now as well. Junkrat at the bottom, still pushing. Trying to make that happen and retake so that they have a 4 versus 4 going on bell towers again. 80,000 damage for Cassia, and as the bell tower is about to be claimed, the blue team has moved already on, moved straight towards the top in order to get themselves a boss, which might now be stolen by DDX. Yep, that's bad news right there. This is going to be a fight for it. Junkrat is coming, ETC not here, Azmodan is back, they gotta give it up. That's a pretty sweet move from the perspective of DDX. I mean, best case scenario, you take your bell tower back, you steal the boss from the opponent, and all of a sudden it's 9 points to 18. Still tough, but a lot more manageable than what we had before. And to be absolutely honest with you, in the last couple of minutes, Azmodan has not gotten himself a lot of stacks for his baseline. Yeah, does not have a lot here. Since Grasp is in, as level 20, then again, as already mentioned, this is a nice reward that you get here to fully boost that even further. But it's also not the end-all be-all. But he could do better in a situation like this where he burns the minion wave down anyways and just stack in on top of it. So there come the hits against the heroes now at least, but even here, no hits. We have altars coming back up, and they're fighting for this one any second now with level 20 ready on both sides. It also gives us for Tyrael, the Angel of Justice. ETC came in. Angel of Justice straight onto Anduin. Trying to get the kill here. Mosh Pit keeping Blaze at bay. And they still try to go for Genji again. Jet Propulsion connects. ETC has to be careful. Yeah, but he again creates space for the team. Boss with another couple of hits and now at 300 stacks. Is also starting to get there with his own damage output. 31,000 now. But look at Samuro, for example. 55k for him alone. Alta has already been channeled and was taken by Team Rip, which means that DDX is now down to 5 points on their core. So they're running out of space. Not a lot of points left on that bad boy any longer. And if they are starting to lose bell towers again, which could definitely be the case considering that some of them are already low, then one altar by Team Rip could potentially end game number 1 of this best of 3. So, yeah, well, at that point, here comes the attack, and Dead Inside goes down. So does Tyrael. Genji and Tyrael are both gone. Dino jumps in, and they're doing some mad damage against the red team and are now able to take this out. Go for the bot lane, take that bell tower, and potentially therefore also win the game, because there's another push coming at the top and this is likely going to convert this bell tower. If they lose both of them, it's going to be super difficult to do anything around the next shrine, because that thing is going to be announced very soon. They might actually lose the entire thing. I mean, if the barrage starts, 5 shots are fired fairly quickly, and Azmodan is just taking these minion waves out. But Samuro can go down to the bottom of the map and get them the channel. So this is a nightmare scenario for DDX in game number 1 currently. And yeah, there comes the attack. More and more damage done. Azmodan pops the ult. They're getting it. They're going for it. They're getting it. There's the laser, and that is a full control on all the bell towers. The barrage is starting, and that is game. They won't be able to take it back in time, especially with Junkrat now gone. And that is a solid, I mean, great game from Team Rip here. Really cool game. Tyrael got the altar and gets one shot. Not that it doesn't really help them, but with only 2 left, the next shot is coming in. 17 kills, 2-12. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 goes to Team Rip as they decide Towers of Doom in their favor. Nicely done, really well played. And now the lead in the best of 3. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Map number 2. Turns out that DDX actually decided that they want to play on Dragonshire, so they forwent the option of going into first pick, first ban. And right now, we're getting our second map, and it's match point for Team Rip. They have first pick, first ban here, and we'll see how they adjust things. And again, so far, this has actually been interesting. To me, it's kind of funny because I already talked about the potential to see Azmodan with a new patch when Azmodan was played in Group A. Then I talked about it a bit earlier when we had our first Group B matches, and now we actually saw that. Teams will have to be careful if there is a pusher like this on the other side, in the sense that they need to make sure that they know where exactly that hero is. You have to respond to these things. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, there was actually a phase in the game, I believe it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and not that much has changed. I mean, now yes, but in that time frame, where Dino played with Azmodan and went for a side lane push, and that eventually was being shut down by other teams. He did the same with Sylvanas for a time. So this is just basically Dino going back with a bit of his draft ideas to things that he's already done previously. So keep that in mind. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere, and we've already had in Group A some adjustments with playstyles like this. Now, is Azmodan really getting to a point where he's going to be banned or regularly picked? We'll see, but I would already be very happy if we would just end up in a situation where on certain maps, specific heroes all of a sudden become strong enough that they become interesting for teams to be picked. And since we have Vikings and Proteus being continuously banned out against Team Rip now as well, this is already super interesting for things to potentially come here in the future. Now, Dragonshire is our second map, and this is the chance for DDX to bring this back. So they decided in favor of the map, so maybe if they have a draft prepared for this, we'll see. For now, Rhaegar gets banned very early, helps with some of the mercenary camps, of course, too. And yeah, I'm kind of intrigued. It's really fun to see this. This is the first day with the new patch, and it's really fun to just see how this works out. And I can't wait to have the tournament continue and go into the playoffs, because it automatically means, you know, that more weeks have passed. So teams will try more things. Others will develop counters to that, and it will shake things up. So after years and years of having patches that has essentially changed nothing really, this is kind of cool. I used to make a joke, you know, when I talked about a patch, to explain to Heroes of the Storm fans what a patch is, that this is when a company cares about their game and they're coming in and they're tweaking things to make stuff a bit more interesting and more balanced. But right now we're actually having, for the first time in a long time, a patch that has an actual impact on general gameplay and not only on 1 or 2 hero priorities because they got changed. Maiev Interior with Tracer now coming in. Oh well, that's a ban. So she gets eliminated. I'm still eyeing Sessobos and Dino, and if we are getting any crazy picks, it's going to be on their end, of course. Then again, I also don't necessarily expect tons of crazy picks, but I expect more so as adjustments to the way that their heroes are played. I am a little bit surprised that we don't see more globals, though. We have seen several maps over the course of Group B where I would have where I could have seen Falstad as a pick even in the old patch, and with the new patch I would have expected Falstad to play a bit of a bigger role. But so far we haven't seen the birdie once. So if Falstad gets picked on Dragonshire, it would be the first time. Johanna comes in and we get Malfurion. Okay, that leaves us with Dead Inside. Could still go for that. No Dehaka. Again, Dehaka technically nerfed, but we have seen him a lot in the previous matches that were played. Specifically in the first one, I have to admit. Was specifically the first match where Names Are Overrated played against the Swedish team around Breeze, Wooby, and Smexy. Now we get Sonya and Zagara. Are we gonna get that Nidus? That sweet Nidus? I don't think so. But we get Zagara, and if she is at any point alone on a lane, she can obviously wreck it. Especially now. But that brings us to Dead Inside as the final pick, as we're on Dragonshire. So are we gonna get some global action? Are we gonna get, for example, Falstad? Or is it just gonna be a normal pick? They go for a triple front line, Blaze, Urel, and Johanna. Alright, so let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We're heading into our first match point in the series. We have Team Rip going up against DDX on Dragonshire. Team Rip has match point. The blue team starting on the left with Vasilisco on Rhaegar. We got Cesabos on Maiev, Sven on Sonya, Dino on Zagara, and Krankle is playing Tyrael. As over on the right side of the map, we got, ooh, Broccoli Baby. Alright. So, let's go. Actually, we don't have Broccoli. Womp womp. We get the deep roots over here. So, yeah. Still, again, kind of nice. But we now have Shizakid on Johanna. We got Danazovsky on Malfurion. We got Den Inside on Urel, Yoshiro on Hanzo, and Virgil is playing Blaze. Honestly, the second that I see anything like that, my head jumps immediately to some Broccoli action. But, yeah, not so much. So instead we're getting a little bit of a mana boost from Malfurion here. But also something I haven't really seen. So, yeah. I've seen some Malfurion games today. But, yeah. So, with that now said and done, we have four... Oh, double kill! Malfurion is gone, and so is Sonya. So, easy kill on each side. Whereas, down at the bottom of the map, we have Zagara currently with Infest. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. Now, we have Infest plus Inspire as a new mechanic after the recent patch. Very curious what Zagara is going to be able to do here. I mean, obviously, Team Rip, as you can tell, is experimenting a little bit with things. Dino has been playing Zagara a lot in the past, and he was actually one of the players that made her a staple on Dragonshire, at a minimum. But she's been played on other maps as well, but it started with Dino and one or two other players starting to play her on this map specifically. And Dino, huge fan. Now with Infest and the push mechanic that we have with the new patch, this could get interesting if he's able to sneak to those side lanes. And honestly, I've been joking a little bit about Nidus earlier, but I don't think it's that crazy anymore to potentially see Nidus here. Now, quick kill against Urel, so that's already a nice one. But there's a couple of ways how the blue team could now play this. I mean, obviously we're talking about a leap into Maw as an option. There's a lot of things that you can do with Maw. It's not only a really nice aggressive tool if you can combo it with something else and go for a wombo, but it's a very nice passive or defensive tool too. Huge push, by the way. So not only do we have the Inspire mechanic kicking in, but there's a camp together with it. Like, that push is absolutely deadly, which is why the team on the right side is reacting instantly, but they still lose their entire wall. But as I was about to say, Maw is great, but if you are now really going deep with Infest on level 1 and you want to go for these side lane pushes, then Maw is not your only option. Nidus might become interesting just because you can join a team fight and then very quickly move to the other side of the map and empower a push with Zagara. Now the stars have to align for that a little bit. I'm not quite sure if we're going to get there, but I would not be completely shocked if Dino would at least give it a try. Nice control. Dragonite. Yeah! Denied by the bot lane. Okay. Very nicely done. DDX now with control. They could technically try and get the DK. After just a second ago, it was Team Rip that was threatening it. Couple of extra stacks now also for Malfurion, of course. We talked about the boost to the mana pool here with this level 1 talent. Personally, I would have been a huge fan of Broccoli, just because Groot is awesome. But I haven't seen any of that yet. Zagara alone at the bot lane, by the way. That could become a problem if Dino is allowed to push, but he moves towards the top to help out here. Maiev goes down, though. Maiev already gone. 3 kills to 2. Lots of fights, by the way, happening here. Game number 1, we had a huge amount of kills, and now this just continues the pattern. Yoshiro is able to escape past the gate. Good for him. And instead, it's Sven with Sonya that's in trouble, trying to self-sustain himself a little bit longer. Gets the heal from Rhaegar, but Rhaegar now gets stunned out. Basilisco is trying to get away and gets murdered. The doggy gone. Yeah, they weren't able to take the hero in the mid lane out. Sonya escaped. Rhaegar with a big save, but then he himself becomes the target and gets killed. So unfortunate for him. Now, push at the bottom of the map still continues. We now have Infest already used here to push this out a bit further. And Yoshiro is a bit low. So there needs to be some assistance, and it comes in form of Danazovsky with not only a heal, but also threatening that route. Mid lane, on the other hand, as Urel is playing against Sonya at the top lane again. This is where the 3 versus 3 unfolds. It's a pretty dynamic game so far. I mean, it's really spread out over the entire map. Zagara is always moving between lanes a bit to try and threaten the team too. Comes again in with Infest. Always toggled on here the entire time. And we'll see how much damage she can do once that she goes onto a lane and really gets the auto attacks in here too. Even just a team fight later on could help with that a lot. So Dino's damage output will be something to keep an eye on. 32,000 currently on Siege. But by now we have a slight lead in experience for DDX. Sonya alone all the way up at the top. Over here in the middle, still the attacks coming. Yeah, and Hanzo in particular with a 14,000 damage now, kind of attempting to pressure them further. Good jet propulsion against Crankle though. And that's the end of Tyrael. Tyrael is gone, and the minion wave gets more or less blown to pieces, as Zagara still has to be careful. Decent creep spread would make it a bit safer for Dino to push out onto the lanes, but there are of course plenty of tools on the red team side to take the creep tumors out. Malfurion with his Moonfire being one of them, but then on top of that you have also Jojo with several abilities that she can use. Adjustment on level 10, we've seen that in the past, and here we see it again. We got Sacred Ground for Urel. Especially on this map, this has been played quite a bit. Twilight Dream now. And here come the level 10 abilities. Leap, Judgment, and no more yet. So he's holding it back at least. We could... and there's the more. It's a little bit sad. I would have loved to see Nidus and to see if it works out. Judgment into Leap. Trying to get the big hit. But, yeah, they're not able to get that kill. Dragon Knight, on the other hand, can they take it? And indeed they can. DK taken. Tyrael down. Oh, this is where it gets dangerous. Oh, sorry, my bad. It wasn't actually taken. It's always that symbol with Blaze when he gets the bunker through. So for a second I really thought they got themselves a Dragon Knight, but nope, they didn't. I mean, good for the blue team. That would have been an absolute disaster if that happened as well. So by now we have everybody back up on the map and they have taken control over the top. But yeah, let's see. Down at the bottom of the map, Virgil against Sven, still in the 1 versus 1. Push at the top lane has started to dish out damage onto the fort. This is actually the one that has taken the most damage in this game up to now. We're talking about experience gains. Still very, very even. A little bit of a discrepancy between mercenary experience and hero XP gains. But in the end, the two of them nearly cancel each other out. Then again, when you're thinking about Zagara, she has the most XP for the team, but we haven't seen that big of an impact of Dainu just yet. As the game opens up, this might change. Ult already forced out by Dead Inside. Keep in mind, very low cooldown on the Ardent Defender. So that's definitely something that can YOLO out a lot more often. Both teams on level 12 now. And it's getting tense here. We haven't seen a Dragon Knight yet, and Tyrael dies again. Tyrael dies again, and there might be the chance for the red team, but Sonya is all alone at the top. And Maiev, as Basilisco dies at the bottom, is actually pushing a little bit in the middle. Just works a couple of attacks in so that she gets the Inspire buff and can start working that wall down. Sonya's done a similar thing on the top lane just a second ago. But with 8 kills to 2, DDX is getting more and more leverage in this game. If you are that heavily ahead in kills, you will be able to do well as you run the numbers advantage. They're diving the board and they take down Zagara. Still good damage on Shizakid, but Jojo gets away. Even Malfurion is able to escape. That's actually ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. Maiev comes in and gets the kill. And now with Judgment initiating the attack against Hanzo, they're working in a second one. So good for them. This would have been a bit of a disaster if both of these heroes would have walked away from the fight after diving that deep to take Zagara down. But now that gives some extra hero experience to Team Rip and allows them to catch up slightly. Not a lot of roots, by the way, that connected for Malfurion so far. He's currently sitting at 9. That allows him still for an additional 100 mana that he currently holds here. But nothing too insane. Both teams on level 14. And potentially, first Dragonite. Is that the chance? Is that the moment? The disc is out. And they're losing control at the top. Pretty fun disc, by the way, with that animation of the Fire Blast coming in. But by now we have, of course, also some extra stacks for Tyrael, who's sitting at 8 on his Ardent Defender. Not too crazy either. And Krangler had a bit of a rough game so far. He died 4 times already, so that slowed him down there for sure. And Judgment's in. Leap! And then Hanzo with an arrow, absolutely shutting down that play. The whole idea of burning a target into the ground with with Judgment into Leap not working out, at least initially. But the fight is still turning in favor of Team Rip as they take down Malfurion. So that's a big one to kill. Yrel came in, albeit a bit late. Still, that's now 9 kills to 5. And the blue team is catching up on this. Only one that hasn't died yet in this entire game, actually, but on the side of DDX, is Blaze. Blaze has not fallen even once. The one thing that I'm a bit afraid of for DDX is once that they lose a big team fight and Zagara gets the chance to push with minions. But Rhaegar gets murdered, so DDX is definitely not giving up on this one. They are aggressive from start to finish here. I mean, every single fight, they're just at it again. 15 kills in total in this game. Level 16 is ready. The chance, maybe, to get a Dragonite now. Tyrael attempting to interrupt it in the middle. Sonya's at the top, and she takes it. She steals the opportunity away from them. And Zagara is now at the bottom and is getting it for Team Rip. Actually, no. Was a bit afraid from that rotation in the middle. Hasn't quite worked out instantly. But yeah, Zagara is still attempting to push. And the same is true at the top lane. So Crackle is coming in. They're aggressive on Blaze. He has Bunker. So unless they're getting an insta-kill on him, he will bunker up. And they still need to meet Zagara down here. This is where it gets dangerous. This is where it gets really dangerous. Infest plus Inspire. How much damage is that actually going to do? Well, enough to take a tower down within seconds. So that was pretty big. They have still a fight in the middle. Tyrael is dead again. Crankle is just activating his trade time and time again. It's trade activation more so than anything else. But you could already tell down here how quickly this wall disappeared. Just imagine Zagara staying there, pushing, and having 10, 20 more seconds. Oh, can they take down Hanzo here? And yes, the answer is they can. Alright. Nicely done. But Zagara gets flanked, and I think she's gone. The problem is that while they go for Zagara, the blue team goes for the Dragonite, and they get it. So Zagara, yes, she gets killed, but the Dragonite is now taken. So this is gonna do some work. And Sonya is pushing at the top and will be able to get herself an Inspire buff for the minions. Yeah, we only have Yrel here, and she's dealing immediately with the minions. So they're changing the way that they're playing some of these lanes because of that new patch and the changes that came with it. Going straight for the minions, trying to take the range minions out at a minimum to reduce the damage that the structure will receive. Dragonite, busy in the middle, doing his thing now. Hanzo, top damage in the game currently with 43,000. Maiev, second with 36,000. But this mid lane fort is gonna go down. So one fort destroyed, big push coming in from them. And at the bottom of the map, yeah, they can still try and push the lane out a bit further. The Dragon Knight is back up for another 24 seconds and moves towards the top now. So in an ideal world, they're going to try and do a bit more here too. But if you look at the experience, that's where the red team is still ahead. And it is mainly because of the hero experience. The hero XP is top-notch over here. So with 6 kills that they are ahead, they were able to still maintain a lead over the opponent's team. Minion experience in favor of Team Rip is actually what keeps them so close here. Tyrael now down at the bottom of the map. But it's another clutch game. I have to say, it's a little bit too early to chalk that up to the patch alone. It could still just be the pairings that we have in the group. It's very difficult to tell based only on a few games that we've seen. But every single game that we've seen so far today was a bit of a banger. Not gonna lie. Very, very cool games between the teams here. And very enjoyable, with a couple of new ideas already coming in. Personally, I expect more experimentation as the tournament continues. And teams and players get more familiar with the patch and will adjust more. But right now, things are already looking pretty decent. So right now, we have the pressure for the next push at the bot lane set up with a camp that they just claimed. There's Siege Giants in the mix as well. Red team has a few too, but they should be taken out quickly. There's the dive. Alright, nice. Ult from Malfurion, baited out. Ooh, the Maw missing. This is where they can dive in as a camp, pushes for the structure, and ignore the main thing a little bit because of that change of priority. Arrow easily dodged and on its way to the US. Narrowly and arrowly missing the target. So, 13 stacks from Malfurion on level 1, level 20 talents on already. We're 20 minutes into the game. 15 minutes into the game as we have level 20. Numbers are hard sometimes. And Tyrael goes down again. So everybody is just popping their Storm talents. We have now 6 deaths on Tyrael. Maiev a little bit low, but still alive. That's those heals. Zagara's coming in. Zagara by now with 40,000 damage too. I mean, look at the damage distribution that we have for the blue team. They basically have all the same damage, with the exception of Rhaegar. Everybody else is sitting just above 40,000. So, yeah, dragon statue. Oh, actually. Ooh, the heal! It actually connected. Hanzo is dead, and somehow Sonya is still alive. They can still go for the next fight here. Tyrael is back. They were trying to chase harder, but now the DK is open. And Zagara is moving down to the bottom of the map immediately. There's only Jojo right now, so he's trying to flank around. Dino is trying to get more damage out of this. Tyrael is coming in. He sees what's coming on. Dragon Knight is taken. They go for Zagara. Blessed Shield into the jet propulsion. And that's a kill. But Malfurion is also a bit low. And again, this is where we perfectly see that the fort does not give a damn about those heroes. So that dive is a problem. You still get, of course, that armor boost through the structure, but Tyrael would normally not have engaged the way that it did in this situation. And they are pushing Danazovsky far back out. They're even going now for Blaze. Virgil gets punted around a little bit. Is dropping low, but they're not really threatening the kill. Maiev is at the top. All the forts now destroyed on the red team side. So the blue team is getting momentum here. They're building it up. The teams are both on level 20. So Storm talents are in. There's not going to be any advantage on talents any longer. But there's big plays coming on the macro level at least from the blue team. Zagara down for another 15 seconds. She's currently at 91,000 siege damage. If you compare that to Sonya, Sonya's at 133. Sven is getting massive siege damage out in this game. Arrow again missing the target. He's saving the good one for the next map. And Hanzo gets attacked, might still die, made it into the bunker, but he's not out of the woods yet. Gets straight up attacked again, and Tyrael wants him. Krangle wants him, Krangle gets him. Tyrael died a lot here, but he's also able to dish out a ton of damage. I mean, look at his numbers. He's at 60,000 damage right now. The 6 deaths are not looking too amazing, but that's decent damage numbers from him. He's basically at the same amount of damage that we're getting from Hanzo on the other side, just to give you a bit of an idea here. And this is really what I talked about earlier. Now Dino is pushing. There's no minion wave there just yet. But if they are able to push with the help of the minion wave, and then Infest kicks in from Dino's level 1, and you got the boost, you could really go through structures quickly. And Jojo is gone. This is exactly it. 3 defenders only, and Zagara can now heavily contribute with this. Look how quickly that wall disappears at the keep. That's big damage, and that's only 1 minion wave that we have right now. The attacks are coming. Urel is in trouble, and she dies too. Zagara, the Infest and Inspire double combo as they're making quick work of the keep and can now go for the core. This is where the power comes in. Zagara with massive siege damage improvements right now for the team, and they really want this. It's a 5 versus 3. They're trying to push for the structures. They're trying to take the core down, and they eliminate Malfurion first. Another hero dies on the red team side as Team Rip wants the 2-0 victory in this best of 3. They want to move on to the winner bracket final, and they're so damn close. The core lost its shield. 14 kills to 14, and this is game. Team Rip advances to the winner bracket final, and DDX drops down into the losers bracket. GG.